The Cypher, I would say the Cypher has 10 people decide to create the Cypher. It's usually one person moving and then the energy spreads and turns into the Cypher really. But, these 10 people are holding the space in a circle. So Cypher is a circle, right? And then someone is in the middle taking that energy and keeping it alive. Because if nobody's dancing, then that Cypher is dead, right? So like we're exchanging by just keeping it going. Like you're going to go, I'm going to go. Of course, you know this, right? But this is, I guess, for the podcast, right? So everyone's taking turns within this energy just to keep it alive, like doing the next thing, dancing to the new song, dancing to the break. The break comes on, somebody dances to their whole break. So that's the Cypher. And I think the Cypher came from probably came from hip hop culture, I would imagine, right? Because but Cypher's as old as man. Like we've been around fires and hitting drums and singing together, like as far as we could probably remember. So I think that the Cypher always exists in just humanity, to be real, right? But like in terms of like how that's different from the house culture, was that the question? Like and vibing and how
yeah, because I've what I found is people new to the dance scene have like limited understandings of like how to read a situation. For example, they think like dance always is a battle, so there's like a lack of resolution there. So I'm trying to help unpack that.
Great. Yeah, great point, man. So if you're new to the culture, and you show up, like if you show up to like an event that's a contest, right? Mm-hmm. Like specifically, like if it's like a b-boy event that's a contest, or like even a house dance event that's a contest, the Cyphers might be a little bit more competitive in nature, right? Because people are showing up, they know they're going to battle, and like they're practicing like that battle mentality, right? That might be different than when you show up to a club, right? And it is like the club environment. So a club environment is like where the culture comes from, right? Like the contests and events and like everything you see on like Instagram, YouTube on a stage event, that's a different part of the culture that exists now. And it's great that it exists and it elevates like technical aspects and things of that nature. But inside the club, inside that dark club, when people get together in a circle, that's, you watch the circle, you watch the exchanges, right? Like, naturally, it might be a bunch of friends just dancing, right? And they just might be like grooving together. And, one person is doing a step, and then, maybe it's like two people dancing at a time, and like one person's doing a step, next person's like, oh, let me do the same step. And they start building off each other. And he's like, oh, well, let me add like this other thing. You did a pas de bourrée, I'm going to do a pas de bourrée and a little slide. It's like, oh, I'm going to do a little pas de bourrée and a slide. And then like do this little foot wiggle thing. Oh, I'll do the foot wiggle thing, bring it to my body. And now somebody behind you is like, oh, and that's, to me, that's the most beautiful moments in the club, is like, it's nonverbal exchanges and like that transformation of energy, and it's all connected to the music or what's happening. It might be like some cool, like, it might be like a little cowbell thing, and like everyone's does something, and then it, transfers throughout that crowd, and that's a vibe, I would say.